preparing. And we're on.
Hey. Today is September 26th, and this is a weekly check-in for Backdrop CMS development tasks. Before we get into that, though, there are 3 new contributed projects: Preferred Text Format, Mosaic Grid, and Global Climate Strike, that have come out since last week. Moving on to Backdrop project progress, turn it over to Nate.
All right. So Backdrop came out. Backdrop 114 came out about 10 days ago on September 15th. And we're currently in this 2-week period where we haven't updated some of the upstreams yet because we're making sure that there aren't any substantial regressions in the 114 release. Thus far, it is looking really good. We haven't had any regression, so to speak, although there have been a number of small issues with some of the new features that we added. So 114.1, our focus on the bug fixes right now is largely around fixing the flexible layouts functionality and getting that tidied up. It has yet to be seen like if 114.1 will contain any bug fixes that are holdups for pushing updates to Pantheon and other upstreams. I think we'll see. If we get some of these changes completed in the next couple of days, then it would probably be worthwhile to make the 114.1 release that contain those fixes and then update the upstreams to match. If we don't get them completed, we probably would continue pushing out the 114.0 release to those upstreams because there's no substantial regression. So it's like basically it's safe for people to update to the new version, and we would like to encourage them to do so. And if we can get some additional fixes in for the flexible layouts that make the usability of those things better, then great. So what are some of those things? So 114.1, kind of one of the bigger issues, and we talked about this during the design meeting just prior to this one, is there's an issue with the header and footer regions with flexible layouts that they don't have the same classes as all of the other out-of-the-box layouts. So if you position the navigation and the footer blocks into the header and footer, it doesn't have the same styling because those same classes aren't present on flexible layouts as they are on the out-of-the-box ones. So this issue, 4066, we discussed in the previous meeting. I think we have a path forward there. We kind of agreed on an approach. The current pull request needs work. And check the last meeting if you'd like to hear more about the solution that we're going to pursue there. Next up, this persistent issue with the views is none of operator. It's been busted for a while. It's issue 3614. There hasn't been any recent comments on that. And I think, let's see, it looks like, Jen, it's in your court right now.
What is?
Is that right?
What?
Or is it not? Is the views is none of operator?
It's ready. It needs core committer review.
Okay.
See if the fix in there is good enough.
Okay. Let's see. And there is, okay. And it's very clear which pull request is the one that I'm supposed to be looking at, or that we're supposed to be looking at.
Excellent. There's like 18 pull requests.
Yeah, that all these strike throughs through it, but final PR, it says, we hope. Okay, great. Needs review on that one. Speaking of views, there are a huge bucket of cross ports that are being implemented. Currently, we have a big meta issue at 3685 that lists all of the different versions of views and the cross ports that we need to include over from them. The current issue that has a bunch of things that are being reviewed is issue 3720, which is cross ports from views 3.12. And there's a whole load of new pull requests, maybe not new, but pull requests that have now been RTBC'd. So that basically seems like that's another area in which core committers can start going through and merging those all in. And once 3.12 cross ports are completed, then that unblocks some issues in the next issue because some of the patches are dependent upon the previous ones. So
I'm a little bit concerned because like the first commit in the 3.13 one is fixed failing tests in 3.12.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'm a little tempted to like move that into the list of 3.12 issues.
Well, if there's an issue that actually breaks the tests in 3.12,
we'll find it.
We won't be able to merge it, yeah, because the tests won't pass.
Okay.
So
all the ones that are RTBC, that I RTBC'd have passing tests, there were like 3 that needed work, I think. But I don't know if Gregory's already gone through and fixed them. This was a week ago, so he might have. But it didn't look like there was anything that was failing tests. So it could be that the thing that says fixed tests, I haven't looked at that patch. Maybe it adds a test or something. Like maybe it doesn't, maybe they're not passing. Maybe it could be changing the way tests work or something. But I was a little concerned, like it wouldn't apply without all of the other fixes in. So I was like, well, can't do that one yet. But if I can figure out which one it maps to.
Yeah, that would be helpful if we could just simply link the 2 pull requests that are somehow affecting each other to say like after merging this one, immediately merge this one.
Or put the 2 commits on one pull request or something.
Or do that, yeah, consolidate them together.
Okay, I'll try and look at that today.
Okay. Let's see, other than the views cross ports and that one particular issue with flexible layouts, there's also a meta issue for other flexible template follow-up issues at 4046, most of which don't have any code behind them yet, but are areas in which it could be improved. I don't have anything else to bring up during the meeting for the 114.1 milestone, although there's, as always, a lot of issues in GitHub that could also be fixed in the near future. So 115 will be the next minor release. It will be coming out January 15th, 2020. Very exciting. Be working into the new year. Feature freeze will be January 1st, or that's always what we say, but because January 1st is a holiday, it probably actually be the 2nd. And so the features that we're going to be working on include digital signatures on packages. That's an issue that I have been working on, issue 1992. I haven't had any progress in the past week, although we have a path forward. I'm almost certainly going to take all of those code sign modules and put them into the contrib repository to make it easier to test them all together instead of pulling from 2 separate pull requests and 2 separate projects that are in John Franklin's personal repositories. So that will make it so that we can work on all 4 of those modules together, as well as deploy the contrib version of CodeSign to backdropcms.org before CodeSign is committed to Backdrop core itself. So I have a path forward on that. I think that we're still in a pretty good shape overall for functionality, and I don't think there's anything that needs to be handed back to John at this point. So that's all I've got for digital signatures. Next up is the recent news block on the dashboard, issue 3566. Tim, do you have any updates on this one?
Nothing new. I think I'm going to try and look at it. I haven't looked at it in a few weeks. I think I just need to bug Jen about some stuff, but I would kind of like to review it myself and see if there's anything I can do before I do bug her. But that's all. Yeah.
Okay, great. Let's see. Move the contents of the managed file display, issue 4031. Jen, do you want to say the update on this one?
The update is that it's complicated. What I'm currently trying to do is refactor the hook field extra fields section that allows you to add extra information to the managed fields display. Right now, it just lets you have a name and a description, and then it you can drag it up and down. But what I want to do is make the same settings form that work for real fields work for extra fields, but it's very complicated. So that's what I'm working on right now. It involves not necessarily an API change, because right now we pass an array, but the array only has the 2 values. I'm trying to make it work so we can pass all the other values that we pass to regular fields, so that we can have the settings form and all the stuff that's in the settings form in there. So I don't think it's going to require an API change, but right now it only listens for the 2 values that are there. So I'm sort of refactoring it to make it get all the form stuff. I'm hoping that this change, and I don't know whether this needs to go in one pull request or 2, one that's like allow settings and one that's like make like files use settings, but I'm going to try and do it in one and see what it looks like. And hopefully this will also make it so that we can move like the title settings and the description settings off of the content type configure form and onto the content type fields form. Those 2 things also need settings and can't have them now when they're on there. So I think it's good. It's going to be a good change. We need it in other places too. So hopefully I can get it done. But it's messy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. With something like the title, that would be awesome to have it on the same places where you said all the other things. But it also could be kind of interesting because the title, like all the other fields are like drag and drop or rearrangement, and the title is always at the top of the page. So yeah, interesting. Yeah, doesn't surprise me. That does seem like a big problem. It might also be interesting. Doc Wilmot had the initial suggestion of just having a link over to the other page, like instead, and that might be a good halfway point where if you get to the point that you can just have the configuration form like open and close, but then it just links over to the other page, like that would be better than the situation right now where it's like they're not associated together.
Yeah, I tried that, but I can't get anything in there right now other than the title and description. So I figured if I'm going to make it work for a settings form, I might as well just load the whole form. So we'll see. It right now seems like it's not going to be very different whether it's a link or a form, but once I get it done, it might seem very different. So we'll see how it goes.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
Nope, not for that one.
Okay. Let's see. Gregory's current issue is provide a way to re-enable disabled text formats, issue 1575. Let's see. It looks like there hasn't been any updates still or in the past week or so. We almost got this into 114, but we had a regression that was caused by a minor API change. And I think that we have a different approach now that takes a little bit safer approach to make this possible, but we're still all on the same page as far as providing functionality here to solve the UI or the UX problem of once you disable a text format, Backdrop right now hides it from you and acts as though it was deleted when in fact it wasn't. And so this will help reduce confusion there that if you disable a text format, then you can actually turn it back on and that you can see that it's not actually totally gone. All right, let's see. Lauren picked up an issue last week, adding the image library modal to image fields, issue 3297. A really excellent issue in which we simply suggest that right now, when you add an image through the WYSIWYG or through CKEditor, you can upload a new image or choose an existing one. And the suggestion is simply that we add an option for image fields that you also are allowed to select from library there. I don't think there's any code behind this yet. He has posted a screenshot. It looks kind of like file field sources where you're allowed to select from library, only opens up a dialog. And yeah, looks like a nice simple suggestion, but we'll see about implementation. Like things might get a little bit gnarly there.
I think he's looking for help to write the code behind it. So anybody can do that.
This is a great suggestion though. Let's see. I'm not familiar with this next one. Auto menu settings in core, issue 1610. Looks like BW Panda has adopted this one. was advocating for this one.
Yes, just this week, BW Panda wants to adopt this issue, which is fantastic. I think this started where I had originally created an issue that was like, I really want basic pages to have the checkbox for like add to menu checked by default. And they, like, so that when you create a page, it doesn't go into the content orphanage, it goes into the menu system somewhere. But then there was a follow-up, it was like, oh, which menu should it go into? And then BW Panda mentioned this module from Drupal, where it's like, oh, there's this auto menu settings module where you can choose per content type whether the menu should be on and whether it goes into the menu, and even if it has a parent menu item, like if it should be a child. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that module existed, but it did seem to exactly match the thing that I had requested. And so he created an issue for auto menu settings in core, I think, or retitled it or something. So I think it's a great idea. I think there might be a lot more features in the Drupal 7 contrib module than maybe we need in core, but I haven't looked at it in detail. So if all it is the ability to set, do you want this in the menu or or not? Yes, no. Which menu? Yes, no. Parent item, select list. That might be fine.
Oh, there is a pull request on this one. I hadn't even seen that yet. As of 20 minutes ago. So very fresh. I'm going to update the summary here. Find BW Panda. Yeah, this one has not yet been put into the one. Geez, I'm having trouble keeping track of my versions. This is not yet put into the 115 milestone.
It only just got a advocate.
Yeah, and it hasn't been. No one has confirmed. It's marked a milestone candidate, but it hasn't been moved into the milestone yet. So yeah, Jen, I think that would, if you have the capacity, if you could evaluate that and see, if that seems core appropriate, like that would be helpful, because I'm not really sure. It seems like that could get really complicated, kind of like you say, like contrib modules usually provide every option under the sun to make that problem space solved,
That's what I was thinking too, but I'll take a look. The pull request only changes one file, so. Yeah.
How bad can it be? There's some big files.
Yeah, I mean, menu.module, how important is that file really?
Okay, let's see. Jen, can you also cover the next one? Image style tokens, issue 3594.
Sure. So we talked about this last week, and I think we decided that it wasn't ready to be a core candidate because Nate didn't want it in core. But I just wanted to bring it up again, just so that we get some more feedback on the issue. After the meeting, there were a couple of people in the issue that were like, wait, why don't we think this is good for core? And I noticed after that it was included in Drupal 8 core. And so I added the Drupal 8 feature parity, added to the feature parity project. And I just wanted anyone who wants image style tokens to be able to go and weigh in on that issue. It probably won't get in the next version, even though it's mostly ready, but it could get in the one after that if people still want it. So. And also, Nate, it would be helpful for people in the issue if you could add a comment on there saying why you think it's not suitable for core.
Okay.
So if anyone missed the meeting, they'll be up to speed there. So that was all I wanted to say for that one.
All right. That's all we have. That's the list of things for 115. I think that's actually all items that are in the 115 milestone at this point. Do you guys have anything else you guys would like to bring up or discuss?
Oh, I can always come up with one thing. Quick question. Is it possible in GitHub for me to see like all of my issues? I'm sure that's an old question.
The ones that are assigned to you or the ones that you created?
Or that I've created. How about that?
I think there's a, like in the search thing, they have all these weird like secret, like I think if you put like author : and put your name in, you can find once you've
I'll Google that.
Yeah.
This was a straight up option for filtering by author.
Oh, is there?
It's a drop down.
Okay.
So
it'll probably add a funny thing with a colon into the search string.
It does, yeah. It turns it into author : your GitHub handle.
Oh, right there, sure. Okay, the reason I brought it up Well, or can you do ones you commented on? Like that you've been involved in?
No.
I think put your username in without author colon. That's what I've been doing.
I'm just going to bring up kind of a random old issue that I just wanted to get. There was, I commented on it about a week or two ago. There was an issue about like component maintainers from several years ago that was just floating out there. And I was wondering, did anything ever happen with that? Like, is there a decision not to have maintainers, or did that just
component maintainers?
Or, like core, like
subsystem or whatever?
I don't know. I think there were like specific modules. I was just looking for the issue. I commented on it about 2 weeks ago, so it's probably not too far down the list.
Yeah, I think I looked at that and I wasn't feeling up to posting an official response on that, but it's kind of that we have so few committers at this point that it doesn't seem right to like push them into a particular box of capabilities. It's just like right now, if you're a committer, it's great if you have a specialization in one area, and that would be fine to be a core committer, but we wouldn't restrict you from weighing in on other areas at this point. I think it's a matter of volume. I think if we had more people, then we would probably pursue that.
Sure. And I bring it up not to like advocate for it, more so just because I stumbled across it and it's like, I don't know what the answer to this is. And it might be helpful to just put like, and I'll do this, I'll just sort of summarize what you just said, which is, well, this hasn't been ruled out. It's kind of on hold because we don't really have the people for it right now.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yep, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Okay.
I also found the answer to your previous question, Tim. Looks like you can. I tried it in GitHub, just typing in a couple of different filters. If you use the filter commenter, and then your handle, commenter that has one T in it, comment ER. I'm not even sure if that's an actual word, but that works to find issues on which you have commented.
Interesting. Cool.
Yay, secret GitHub filters.
Just did that and it seems to have worked. Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah, crazy. What's not on the agenda though is that Bad Camp is next week.
Oh yeah.
And it might be good just to recap our schedule for the week of Bad Camp and the events that are going to be happening. Either of you two are probably better suited to cover that than myself, though. So, do you guys want to take a shot at outlining the schedule?
I will try. I'm writing this in there at the same time as well. So on Wednesday, which is the first day of Bad Camp, we have a half-day training that goes from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. in the afternoon. On Thursday, we have a full day mini camp, which will go from 8:30-ish to 5 p.m. Then we have on Thursday night a party, which will be 6 p.m. onward. We have a reservation on the blog post. Hold on, I've got to figure out what it is. We have a reservation at Victory Point Cafe, which is a board game location where they also happen to have food and drinks. So it is all ages, family-friendly gaming location, which should be fun. Of course, playing games is also optional. If you don't want to play games, that's totally fine. And that we have a reservation for 15 people, but the venue is pretty big. So if we get more people than that, it should be fine to adjust. I just wanted to make sure we had a table that we could sit at. So put in that number. And then on, let's see, I think our session's on Friday. I'm looking it up now. Schedule. Okay, no, that's not it. Friday. Okay, on Friday at 1:30 p.m. We have a session, which is the Backdrop Past and Future talk that Nate did last year at Bad Camp that's been updated for all of the stuff that we've done since then, which is pretty cool. Then on Sunday, time and location TBD, we're hoping to have a sprint. But I'm thinking it'll probably be something like 10 a.m. and maybe at our house.
Anybody, I'll probably join that remotely if anybody else wants to.
That would be great. We can set up the Zoom or Hangout or whatever and try and get a virtual thing going too.
Great. So backdrop events happening Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And
There's a great blog post by Obadiah on backdrop.org. So if you need to repeat that, go check out the blog post.
Backdropcms.org.
Okay. All right, that's it for this week's meeting, I think. I'm excited to see, hopefully, a lot of our participants, people watching this video later. I'm excited to see a lot of you guys in person next week. And if you're not coming to Bad Camp, that's totally fine too. I'm excited. We're gonna have all these people, and at the same time, like, our online community is growing so much. It's just great to have people everywhere. So
another thing I want to say I'm super excited about, thinking of community growing, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 issue advocates for the next release for Back 114. So that's really exciting. It's like twice what we had last release.
And that blog post hasn't been put out yet, has it? The one that you wrote?
Just went out today.
Oh, there you go. Well, that's probably why BW Panda became an advocate, I guess, because he probably read it. Huh, amazing. Okay, awesome. Well, thanks so much, everybody. Thanks so much, everybody out there on the internet, and talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.